presence at the same time.
I was almost going to mention that as well, that Bjergsen was kind of mentioned during that time, is that there's a lot of weight to this position. There's the shot calling pressure, there's the playing at the top level still pressure, and not just performing what I do on stream, but having to bring that to other lanes. And now it's all come to fruition for TSM. 9-0, and now 1 victory over CLG here in their best of 3. Second game, picks and bans. Same from CLG so far. The Elise is taken out from TSM from Xmithie this time.
Target bans here from TSM right out of the gate on the blue side. Full jungle focus here. Kindred, Xmithie is one of the guys that really has highlight plays with Kindred. I mean, he's associated with that Kindred ultimate onto major objectives like Dragon and Baron to be able to bait out smites and capitalize with air. He's also just had a strong early game on the champion as well. So double focus onto Xmithie and topping it off with the Ryze here, one of the OPs.
Very true. CLG actually talked it out, and they did miss that ban. It is not a bug. That was discussed too long, and actually it looks like they're trying to talk it. If they did catch it and spoke to a referee, then that was what was being talked about. But it does have to be done before the other team does something. Yeah. So if that was in the mixes and the other team still picks, then that's
I don't think I don't think it was a mistake. I think they're remaking it, but I'm not quite sure. Got to check in. I think that was just. Meanwhile, though, what do you think that ban was? Vladimir?
Timo?
Not going to happen. Probably the Bard focus that we're looking for. I think that he will find his place. Probably not on the bans. I think it will just be higher priority in the pick.
You know what makes that really scary, though, is both of these supports after that still have something amazing to pick. There's that Nami for Biofrost. aphromoo still plays an Alistar that will dive every turret, make plays. But I feel CLG's pool isn't what they used to win with. The ability to pick during that lane swap, which happens so often now, the ability to make something happen in the first 5-10 minutes. They're forced to almost replicate what TSM was doing last game.
Yeah. One of my favorite current bottom lanes is the Braum plus Jhin, because there's so much pick potential and so much kill potential early on. Right. Plus then you have that long range engage potential with Jhin later in the game, a little bit of utility there. The only thing is for CLG, Stixxay did not have a successful Jhin game this split.
Yep.
And they haven't really gone into that pool of AD carries. Oh yes, the game has been remade.
The game is back up. So what actually happened was the players were not seeing the bans. So when they did let it roll by because they didn't know it was theirs. Yeah. In fact, they are remaking.
So it wasn't just a
they weren't
ban.
just chatting it
Technical difficulties. But again, if we look back at the focus of these champions that CLG have talked about trying to adapt to, you know, Huhi has not had success on Victor either, which is supposed to be the blind pick mid lane. And in this case, we saw Huhi and CLG blind picking Azir, which does have weaknesses that you can counter pick into there with the assassin from LeBlanc, even though Huhi played it well in the early game and didn't get punished early on. The weakness there of not really having a robust Victor game is another weakness that it can be attacked. And
there's always two factors to that. Yeah, you take it away, but are you almost pigeonholing yourself? And that's weird to say with an Azir because he's still such a versatile champion. But if that's kind of the only thing you're gunning for, right, you might be up the river without a paddle. Other things to look for is more focus for Darshan. A few more after that. We've seen multiple teams. We saw it yesterday as well when P1 continuously killed Hauntzer over and over and over again. But still, it seems like TSM's already in a position to not let it go more than Hauntzer going down. The lane's not pushed. The opponents aren't ready to take a turret after taking down Hauntzer.
Yeah, TSM did a very good job of not tilting after the first blood on their top laner, something the team has experienced a lot. But they recovered so quickly after that first blood on Hauntzer.
Yep.
And from that point on, it was all TSM creating plays. And a lot of them were centered around that top lane and around that 1v1. Because you know, the Jax vs Aurelia matchup is so close that if one really starts to snowball, it takes over the game and it has such a big impact. That's why the teleport from Bjergsen up top when that skirmish was happening 1v1 between them to get that first kill on them was such a big part, a pivotal part of the game. After that, we saw Darshan trying to go for the 1v1 and just dying solo as well. So things went to bad, from bad to worse for CLG.
It's those little things, because on top of that, was also placed the fact that they tried to gank Bjergsen in mid lane. He gets out with 100 health, and then they lose Afro, lose more map control on something you're committing so much for, you're planning, and then it fizzles out so close. And that actually plays on the mentality, on the confidence of trying that play again. Are you wary to do it? Is it going to be successful? And that makes you stop from playing.
Okay, so we have one more update because they did see the first 3 bans. So the first 3 bans are going to hold. Kindred, Swain, and Elise, it looks like here, from the ref getting updates. So
Yes.
we will remake, and we're going to probably have the first 3 remain the same and just continue where we left off.
And they were great bands. They were great bands.
So this time around, yeah, if you talk about that mid lane and we keep focusing on the Bjergsen and the teleport LeBlanc, that's not all Bjergsen plays. Like, he's such a versatile guy.
Yeah.
He's only died 2 times on his 5 Zillion games total. So his Zillion, it's so weird how Zillion we usually think of not having the biggest lane presence, but Bjergsen always seems to still manufacture some pressure in mid lane with playing a more utility focused mid lane champion like Zillion, just with the great double bombs that he's able to put out, and then still have the ultimate and speed up to allow the rest of his team to carry later on.
What are the new ones? They're entering into new
There we
ground.
go. See?
There's
first 3 bans the same. Rek'Sai follows up. That was the one we didn't get to see. Ryze and Vladimir do follow. Haha, was correct. Vladimir, very high priority, especially in North America, and not going to find himself in this game. That allows TSM the pick of the litter here with Rek'Sai and 2 other junglers banned. I would have expected them to go for a jungler, but they feel confident. It looks like here. I mean, Bjergsen's pretty much confident in all matchups.
Yeah.
But would be curious to see if they first pick this Azir away. It is his most played champion this split.
Take it. Give that to Bjergsen. We'll see how it fares. Echo Fox left up Azir every time. All 3 games they played TSM were able to take the first one. So if your mid laner feels comfortable about it, it's just avoiding Bjergsen engages if you make it past 30 minutes. Some crazy fight
so
you can create.
They secure the Azir. And remember, the weakness for CLG last game was not Huhi on Azir. His Azir was doing just fine in the 1 versus matchup versus LeBlanc in the early stages of the game. So that steal away there from TSM. Meanwhile, on the other side, again, Stixxay is going to go with champion outside of the 3 utility AD carry pool, and his most comfortable champion, the Ezreal, something he's talked about a lot, and they have actually had success with. So Xmithie back on the Nidalee and getting Stixxay an AD carry that he can actually be left alone on.
Left alone and playing safe. Doesn't seem like they have too much crowd control with the team they're putting together to make the lanes work combined. So they may be pushing, swapping, pushing, and swapping. On the side of TSM, 15 seconds left for the next 2 picks. Seeing the AD and the jungle. Pretty much going to give away a little bit here of what you want to create in your composition with your next picks. Probably support and your AD.
Let's see here for TSM. They're already setting up with an Azir, so you
take the Irelia, yeah.
are going to look for some extra speed here. Double lock-in on the Sivir Karma. And this will be a very mobile 4-man squad. I expect, again, TSM to take a split pushing threat to try and end Darshan. Oh, it's
yes! All right. They're
Huhi.
bringing back a lot of MSI.
Yeah, the first competitive Azir player at MSI.
Aurelion Sol, right.
Or, excuse me, Aurelion Sol. Thank you for the quick correction there. And we do get to see him again. This time he's had a lot more time to practice the champion. I'm very curious to see what the strategy CLG have come up to utilize Azir, because he does provide a lot of very interesting things. Very, very high roaming potential from the mid lane and from the fountain as well, coming down with a lot of zone control if you can grow the star.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the aphromoo that the Alistar that you alluded to for aphromoo picked up for the front line for CLG.
The alley move. So barrier flash for his Aurelion Sol, and it's going to be the lock-in Gragas for Svenskeren. Going to get a pretty good fight squad out of this TSM team. They continue to run the Sivir on Doublelift when they want to control the lanes even more and keep pushing to those second tiers, so expect that swap.
Yeah, and as you see it transition into the mid game, we've seen this so often. the disengaged 4-man squad here. Gragas being locked in for that as well. Sivir Karma, Gragas Azir is very, very difficult to pin down and allows time, especially if Hauntzer gets an early advantage in the 1 versus 1 solo matchup for him to have that pressure. Darshan, though, locking in that Trundle is going to be difficult to deal with. Most melee matchups is going to have the early advantage there. We'll see how much the junglers can influence it, and if CLG try and go for that lane swap to open up the game.
We'll see. Like you said, TSM has that speed. We've been seeing a lot of these comps lately, Kobe, trying to create even faster ones. We'll see how TSM can get theirs going and see if they can get the top speed just as fast as game number 1. The coaches joining each other, Parth and Zix, now to head to the back of the stage as it's all up to the players now with the last words of guidance from their coach. As we're getting down onto Summoner's Rift, take a second to snap a pic, share how you LCS tweeted to @LOL Esports with the hashtag #LockIn and the hashtag Let's Go, because why not? Send us your photos so we can show off the coolest LCS battle stations on air. Where you flying, where you going, how you watching? The crowd is ready. I believe there are ward chants on the horizon as wards are placed. And we might actually even get a pause on the horizon as well as we get into this one. The players are situating themselves, and we have a little bit more time to talk. Welcome back.
Welcome back. If you missed the first game, it was TSM taking it in a very quick 27-minute win over CounterLogic Gaming. CLG did get that first blood on Hauntzer. However, TSM made a very quick comeback and never let the pace turn back in CLG's favor. But yeah, as we wait in this pause, let's theory craft some more Aurelion Soul strategies, because they have a lot of extra poke, in zone control that you can pressure at turrets. The Azir, Gragas are on the other side, so that's a lot of disengage. And CLG are going to try and maneuver those guys into a corridor where they can use this Trundle pillar to narrow that distance and amount of room that TSM have to dodge. Then you start throwing in things like the Nidalee spears, the Ezreal Qs, and the Aurelion Soul Q.
I was always very interested by Huhi's Aurelion Soul. A lot of pressuring the wave, backing, buying that next item, not even getting the recipe finished, but piecing things together. And then that composition almost fizzled out when we saw that CLG couldn't fly down the mid lane with Huhi all the time, and you couldn't get past that second turret.
Yeah, that play is going to be hard to pull off against this TSM squad, because we mentioned all the disengage they have. Sivir and Karma, with the amount of speed that they can apply to the rest of the team, it does make it very easy for TSM, if they're grouped up, to avoid those Aurelion Soul long lane initiations. And that's why I'm speculating that CLG are going to try and force TSM into one of these smaller corridors, either in the jungle, or at a turret, and then try and use Trundle Pillar to further decrease the space that TSM have to work with. As you expect, though, again, the deep wards for scouting lane swaps. CLG actually have not put the normal ones, and they have put wards to just scout the jungle start here for TSM. Looking at the jungle camp. So CLG won't be getting that early information on the location of the duo lane because they don't have that deep one down bottom. Are going for the blind swap though, even though they didn't see the duo quite yet. Now they will get vision of them on Krugs, and they will have had success initiating another swap. Huhi, again, this was the matchup he used against Azir at MSI. People have had a lot more time to play against Aurelion Soul now, though. He did get a nice Thunderlord's proc there, though. Shoving in the lane at the same time as getting harassed is one of the benefits of Aurelion Soul. Because you get that free damage of the circulating comets.
You can see his confidence, too. He's like, I've done this a million times. Even against Bjergsen, I'll be able to do it for these first few levels. See Bjergsen healing up, though, and he won't be able to do that forever.
Yeah, the other thing about Huhi's playstyle, especially with champions like Aurelion Soul that can return to lane very quickly, he tries to get that CS advantage by shoving into turret. As you can see, he has been able to manufacture a 3-minion advantage as the minion waves do equalize, but he also presents a very big target for ganks. If mid laners play like this is extremely aggressive for mid laners to be that far up in the lane, especially if you don't have an innate escape in your kit. He prevents a very big target for a lot of jungler interaction around that mid lane. However, lane swaps means that he has some extra time. So here's going to be that shove, return to base, and then try and fly down the lane strategy that we see from him on Aurelion Sol. If you see right now from the fountain, it's going to activate and try and return after that quick purchase. He got the Dark Seal, actually, to try and stack up some extra stacks and make his Corruption Potion that much more efficient.
I think he trolled observers.
Yeah, a little bit. I thought he was gonna. He does have the E skill. He just didn't use the Comet to return to lane. That's useful information though, because I would have assumed that he did use it. Now we know that he has it for roaming.
We saw that just about every time he played at MSI. There wasn't once he did fly back to lane with it. But we will keep an eye on that Dark Seal and what he intends to do with it. Hopefully get a little bit of help from Xmithie to clear out Bjergsen in the mid lane. Right now they're trading jungle sides as the lane swaps are happening.
And there goes the dragon.
A little speed there.
Ha! Comet! See, we wouldn't have known. Svenskeren pretty far out.
Wait a minute. He still needs to keep it going. Throws out one Q, and he does not have his ultimate yet. Obviously, level 4.
Oh, baby!
Pressure the lane. The W's on auto's not going to be enough.
So he gets 2 flashes.
The expansion
He's going
was.
to lose a minion wave, though. aphromoo, I think he has Thunderlords. He wants to go for the flash combo. Not going to get it. But Huhi sacrifices a minion wave for that play to get 2 flashes, and Bjergsen takes the opportunity to equalize in CS.
Already trying the roam.
Oh, up top. It looks like a teleport coming in as well. 2 versus 2. 3 versus 2. Darshan actually going to get left by himself.
Darshan feeling that he was safe in the situation with Xmithie just on his heels, and that's not the case. Just a headbutt here, waiting for Huhi to come back slowly. Bjergsen's going to be able to walk out of this one.
Yeah.
Pulverized from aphromoo.
I really thought Xmithie was going to step into the fray there. Really did think Xmithie was going to step into the fray and try and add a heal over to Darshan, but steps away, and they give up the kill on Darshan on top side. So TSM do acquire first blood. It's a very small gold lead, though, due to the CS for CLG.
I'm just having a blast.
Take another look,
One more time.
So Xmithie walks away and leaves him there under the turret. It was a bit dangerous, but let's look at this play instead. Here comes the Comet. No flash this time for Hauntzer.
Star Surge is out. It hits, but too many minions. Hauntzer threads himself through. Celestial Expansion closes in for the damage, and Huhi is able to finish that one off with Xmithie. Hard work pays off, but they're still looking for more.
Yeah, Hauntzer wanted to try and get vision of the Gromp so he could queue over to the Gromp to try and escape. That's why he was hovering next to the wall, not because he had flash, because he did not. But CLG strike back, a roam from Huhi. This one capitalizing on the flash that he burned earlier, and he's right back in lane. So Huhi on the Aurelion Sol having a good start to this one.
So he might even back off of this one. If Blue's not ready. Yep, mana pool is depleted. 2 stacks on his seal for himself. Look to keep that going. Actually, when he got back to lane, he was looking to get that stacked immediately, so he's really on the hunt for more kills. Darshan level 4 to a level 3 of Hauntzer, who will level up on this wave, but keeping a good advantage there, 19-7.
Yeah, because of the success that CLG had attacking that top side, you know, they were able to lay down a bunch of wards in the blue quadrant of the jungle here for Darshan to continue pushing this wave up and ensuring that Hauntzer doesn't get to freeze it in front of his turret. Something to remember as a whole team, if you're playing against Aurelion Sol, is that if you can get a stun on him, you can stop the comets that are circling around him and lower his damage output a lot. So don't always run away from him. You can get in. Uh-oh! Nice flash.
Flash throws out the Voice of Light actually right in the beginning there. So ult's down for the mid laners. A bit of DPS to follow. Xmithie could not connect on the Javelin. And it looks like they'll just tap on this turret a little bit as it gets cleared away.
Smart to focus on mid lane there for CLG so they can open up more windows for Huhi to roam around and continue his roaming with Aurelion Sol. anytime you want to play aggressive like that as a mid laner, definitely need to have the backup of your team. You can see both wards from CLG around mid lane, as well as presence from the roaming jungler and support. So many visits from aphromoo to the mid lane. And it's kind of that pay it forward mentality where you gank mid lane for the mid laner, allowing him to not only increase in power, but then he has the time to go transfer his gank and try and affect the other lanes. It's something that, especially in just normal ranked games, you know, as a jungler, feels really good to camp mid lane, open up an early level 6 for your mid laner, and then you're basically sending off a level 6 mid laner for a power gank.
Yeah. He was actually just pinged out by Bjergsen as they went to roam up. He was following Xmithie a bit.
Yeah.
But the true shot barrage coming up might have called the team off. Looks like TSM was already backing before that happened. Amount of bars very close to even, so it doesn't look like a full engage here unless we get aphromoo all the way over. Pings are going over from Svenskeren actually onto that blue, so they may have to fight for this, right? Meow.
Wondering if Huhi was going to be able to snag that cannon. Does get it with a quick activation there.
Oh, getting pushed out. Save the blue. All the resources, make it happen. Cloud Drake is what's going to start us off in the den. Looks like they're going to be pushing up the wave on the bot side with Doublelift, and they might still encroach into this side of the jungle.
Yeah.
Maybe not, though. Looks like they give up.
Very important, successful defense of that blue. Svenskeren continues to try and invade and take away the buffs, but that time cost him a lot. Xmithie is 2 levels above Svenskeren. Again, having a very good start to this game. Now it's just up to Xmithie to continue to make those good decisions to move with the rest of the team. You know, one play like they had with the mid-roam last game kind of spun the game out of control in TSM's favor. And they cannot afford to have that happen again.
No.
If TSM gets this victory, they take the entire set. And that will be all for the rivalry this split.
And that door, or window, I should say, is open as well. Stixxay not getting much CS on his calling. Still just got kind of relieved to him, that wave that Doublelift and Biofrost were pushing. So he's trying to stack up. They're almost in safety mode. A time where TSM could take hold of this game. But luckily, TSM themselves playing less pressure for this one. 1-to-1 across the board. Like we saw, Hauntzer died last time and didn't die till the end of the game. Besides that, so a little more pressure here from CLG.
Yeah, an interesting thing that CLG are doing right now as well is having Xmithie tail Darshan as a split pusher. This is something that also did earlier in the split, but they used a mid laner with teleport, and they had, hey, look, our top laner is just a normal split pushing top laner by himself with teleport, but they have an extra person shadowing him in the fog of war, kind of baiting an engagement from the enemy team. This time, no such engagement from TSM, so Xmithie just moves into the jungle. He's going to steal something? It's very calming. Cruising across the map. Now Hauntzer actually gets the engagement.
Oh, just missed on the spear. The flash from Hauntzer is out. He will heal back up with Transcendent Blades, and Counter Logic Gaming unfortunately coming away with nothing that was planned for a bit there.
They're trying to instill this fear in the enemy team, though. The more that you have people waiting in the fog of war behind Darshan, the more it seeps into the enemy mentality that, hey, Darshan is never alone. Darshan is split pushing, yes, but does he have, you know, a couple extra members sitting there in the fog of war behind him? This time, they did even at the turret and forced the flash out of Hauntzer.
Yeah. And all of this actually still very risky from CLG. Sitting on just trinkets, no Sightstone there, and that may be the reason they have no idea this gank is coming in right now. There's the heal, everything from Stixxay. Doublelift forced to fight this one out. Now 2v1, one last whack from Darshan. He's saying freeze. You're under arrest, but Doublelift's running for the hills, and it looks like he's gonna make it out. Maybe a turn. He can easily get the kill. What is Darshan doing?
At that point, he's
I guess
fully
you gotta
committed.
go. You're not gonna give somebody else an assist, so you gotta give yourself up.
So let's go back to the very beginning. CLG, they have people in the fog of war trailing Darshan on top side. If you overload one side of the map, you have to be cautious on the other side. And Stixxay, even though he's on Ezreal, one of the more AD carries with more escapes, he does not account for wards and people flanking him. We talk about the speed of Sivir and Karma being used to dodge skill shots. They actually just engaged there, and it caused the full commitment from CLG. 2 extra kills, both Stixxay and Darshan going down.
Just what I'm saying. They're trying to charge the coal. They're looking to get that Rod of Ages stack. They're not going to do anything.
It's that mentality where if you play the entire map and you play the game like CLG like to play it with full pressure in all lanes, when one side of the map is overloaded, you have to be so cautious about what's happening on the other side. The answer here from TSM, of course they can answer teleports as well, and Hauntzer is going to be able to finish up that kill. Here goes the engagement from CLG though.
Ooh, nice setup onto Biofrost. Safety with that Karma Shield, however. Low HP bars on TSM, but they're still looking to stand tall in this bit of an engagement.
Remember, you know, after that extra kill down bottom, it didn't turn into an objective though for TSM. So CLG still in a marginal gold lead as the coal does pop for Stixxay, and he finally does cash in on that extra money.
TSM moving around in groups now, hip to hip here, trying to stay safe as Doublelift walks off by himself. They have the wards to keep it that way, though. Still no Sightstone. aphromoo rush the mobility boots to keep the movement for CLG around the map to each lane. As you said, Xmithie's trying to do the same for Darshan at the top here. CLG's looking to make things happen in numbers of 2. So far, everything's coming up just short. The ideas are always there. You see where it could result in. But it looks like TSM just always has the upper hand.
So far. The big thing for CLG that's going in their favor, though, is the extra CS on Stixxay that they've had while they kept him alone in that side lane. That is almost made up for by the kills on Doublelift and the extra assists, but there still is a 300 or so gold lead on Stixxay due to the call and extra CS. So they've gotten their Ezreal, you know, through the early game trough pretty much by now. He's almost able to complete Iceborne Gauntlet probably on the next back. And Darshan, he's getting collapsed on right now, but Xmithie's here kind of playing the human ward for him, screening a little defense there, and they just get a bunch of damage on the turret. Not finishing it off. Here come the rest of the team of TSM, though.
But angles, Kobe. If you do the math, that means CLG doesn't look like they can get away on this one. Bjergsen's gonna have Xmithie, and he may actually go for Darshan. Doesn't really have the slow necessary. Yes, they do. They're gonna get back onto it. Darshan goes down. They even throwing out for the homies. The Svenskeren throws down the cast. That's 2 CLG members down as they try to attack mid lane.
But they're going to trade it for mid lane. Objective focus here from CLG. They're losing members on top, but they're gaining ground on mid. They get the first one. I don't think they can get the second one because here comes Bjergsen. They're going to have to be fairly careful.
They have another wave.
The whole team's going to collapse.
Start peeling up
towards
the
they might pay for it. They better get out quick. There's no Sivir ultimate, but there is Karma.
There's that angle again. That could be a very big soul flare. There it is. The secondary not hitting aphromoo, but keeping him in range, and a non-level 6 cow. Not very tanky.
So in the end, it ends up being 3 kills given over for those 2.
For the slow from the barrel, not connecting. Oh, it's right. Can't get over the wall with the flash, and Huhi is forced to just walk this one out.
Man, that was a very smart ultimate there from Hauntzer. But look at this turnaround.
Ooh, Voice of Light providing some good damage. The front end hit onto Biofrost makes TSM think twice. It looks like they almost disengaged themselves a bit. Biofrost still has the speed, and the pillar was in their way. Xmithie looking to harass 2v1. It looks like they're just putting TSM back into position on their own side of the map. Yeah. CLG looking strong, though. They want to continue to push what advantage they have here.
Yeah, and they actually get more gold out of this Azir turret. You get 100 gold for killing that, so even though it's not not going to hit this body slam. Don't think they can actually do anything here, just forcing them out of their own jungle. But yeah, CLG there, barely getting away with Huhi having to burn his flash. Remember that, yes, Aurelion Sol is great at roaming, and you know you can activate the E to move across the map and get over terrain. But if you take champion or turret damage, it cancels it, and that's why Hauntzer, the quick thinking, popped the ultimate from Irelia and knocked him out of it, forcing the flash.
Mid lane. gets the ping, and actually all of TSM coming straight up mid right now. True Shot Barrage trying to deter that a bit, but it looks like TSM obviously positioning.
Yeah, CLG are positioning actually to collapse on them and use this turret as bait. Aurelion Soul behind them, but they group up and Karma speed.
It seems like they thought their turret had a bit more health and would have stayed longer for the fight, but it goes down quick. CLG turns away again. aphromoo level 5.
All the ultimates are down for TSM now. If CLG wanted to chase, they could try and keep up the pressure. They let him go though. TSM gonna recall, and CLG might be able to take an objective afterwards here. Cloud Drake actually does kind of help Aurelion Soul. All right, a lot of early shenanigans. CLG with a very minor lead, and they will take the Cloud Drake as well. Add that extra move speed for an Aurelion Soul is trying to transition.
Six to 1, coming up on 20 minutes. 7 minutes from now, TSM was in CLG's base last game. Quite a different story here with way more turrets standing on the map, and CLG looking for a second tier in the bottom now.
Hauntzer lying in wait here, but nobody else is around, so it's not a very threatening death bush.
aphromoo creeping too.
Observatory. CLG, they're gonna trade that turret, but this is a secondary. They've already gotten the first one. Oh, aphromoo dying!
He almost didn't get to ult. You have to remember as well, the change to that ult makes him a bit squishier. 1-for-1 now as Bjergsen goes down, but there's still DPS returning for TSM, and they're able to clean up CLG kills as Svenskeren falls as well. Xmithie and aphromoo have fallen with Huhi. One last hit. Hauntzer looking to get over the wall. That Iceborne Gauntlet giving him just enough room to keep the fight going.
Get back in there! Oh, I want to see it. Do it!
Almost. That was a dead minion. Stixxay could have gotten the Blade Surge in the second one.
Playing with fire. Remember that it was a 5 versus 4 tower dive.
Yeah.
CLG starting it out looking like they had the momentum, but a couple extra tower shots there, and it goes awry. TSM get 2 turret push off of this dive from CLG. Huhi ends up reacquiring the tower aggro right when he goes in. He thought it was going to be on Darshan though, but Darshan was between auto attacks. And Huhi's ultimate just tags it again, so the tower management not there for CLG on the dive, and it costs them pretty big as far as the momentum goes. 2 turret swing for TSM to get back in it. CLG were holding a very big turret lead, but that allows TSM to equalize it.
And that was 2 solo turrets for Doublelift. He went back with 2,200 gold. You can see his items now, that Essence Reaver and a Static Shiv. So he'll be able to clear more and create a deterrent with those side waves. CLG's gonna have to respect that push coming from him. Right now, it looks like TSM is looking to focus a bit inside the jungle. You can see Biofrost placing some pink wards. Forward pink wards means TSM feels like they can defend that area as well. So they're gonna be staying here.
Yeah, Stixxay taking a decent amount of poke there from Bjergsen as well. As they move up, side pressure. Hauntzer on top for TSM. They're holding mid with just the Azir turret. Pressing up the top lane, prepping it.
Oh! I was gonna say, where are you going, Huhi? You are taking a very dangerous journey over here. They have the wards inside their jungle, but they also don't know if they're walking over a bunch. He's forced to back as it looks like he was gonna try to take out Doublelift with Darshan there.
Yeah, screening for Darshan there in the dangerous long lane split push as well. And again, a little bit of extra move speed actually working out since both teams trying to play the map here. Extra boost from Karma and Sivir have allowed TSM to collapse very quickly. Next Drake though, Infernal, and that will definitely be a point of conflict.
Gotta go faster. Oh, the Elixir of Iron as well. Creates the speed path behind you. That's what
Follow me!
That's what these teams need. We're finding ways to go quicker. Karma Sivir comp seems to be one of those ways so far. Stixxay, haven't seen too many true shot barrages come in for the fight. CLG trying to gain control of the map. We're holding it before, as we said, but the fight in the bot lane and Doublelift with free time in the top has just put TSM on top. Now they're going to go ahead and take that Baron control. Quite a few times, as we said, that 22 minutes, the Baron is TSM's. See how they handle it this time.
Yeah. Even though we keep reiterating how quickly TSM have been destroying their opponents, they do have a pretty strong scaling advantage here. aphromoo getting chunked out and tethered too.
That's going to lock him down for quite some time. It would be a flash save, but his flash is just about to come up.
Yeah, that was a very, very free kill for TSM. Now they move in. They've got wards as well. Full control of the Baron area. They can be the ones to siege up. They've got a champion advantage right now.
Yeah.
They've got the Azir plus Sivir to annihilate the wave. Focus on this turret. Gragas around back. Gets chased out by Huhi though. Yeah, I haven't actually played in enough games with Aurelion Sol or even seen very many in competitive to really get a good handle on the scaling of the champion, but I would assume that it's not as good as Azir because that is pretty much the best in the business. And TSM looking to transition over to bottom lane as Hauntzer has prepped it. A little bit more damage maybe on the turret here. I don't think they'll commit fully to it. aphromoo is back up.
Huhi trying to come in on the side. Svenskeren stops that flank. And all the lanes are pretty much pushed up right now for TSM. They have time to wait and play this out. See if CLG makes a mistake. It looks like they'll take that time to head back for now, though. Coming out very strong. Team Solomid finding ways to get kills. Going on aphromoo even more now. Still seeing the Alistar play with that first level ultimate not as strong. TSM's able to capitalize on those small things.
Yeah, that nerf to Alistar's ultimate was a huge part in why we've seen the drop in popularity.
Yeah.
Because the supports stay on level 1 ultimate for so long. 25 minutes into the game, aphromoo still level 8 as supports, especially in lane swaps, have a rough go of it. Pretty hard now for CLG to retake control. TSM have put a stamp on this mid lane, and they're trying to work over towards that Infernal we talked about. Actually, CLG not even going to contest this, it looks like, as they toy around mid lane with a duo.
Dragons, and more dragons for Team Solomid.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
The little advantages they get catapult the even smaller ones that they have, and they can possibly do things like this. Already being in the place for Dragon, Darshan would have to know. There's some focus bot lane.
Ooh, and he is dead again. TSM flip the button now. They are taking a more commanding lead of this game. And again, they still have such a great late game.
Yep.
It's getting so difficult for CLG. TSM this split have just been so impressive. And it is a lot about the work ethic of those guys. Right now they're getting chased down though.
Doesn't have the Celestial Expansion on. There's the commitment. They don't want to go in.
They're just buying time for the duo push here. The solo laners combining for an inhibitor turret press. Will they get caught out? I don't think so.
I mean, when TSM has 3 in the middle like that, they're almost not worried about an engage. Who's going to stick to them? I mean, if you look at the picks and bans, Bard was open this game, and CLG still chose not to go with it. Something that could have been huge in stopping this TSM.
One of the big reasons that we've seen the Karma, the Sivir, Gragas come back to popularity is with the rise of split pushing top laners. Very often, the other 4 members of the team will have to hold pressure, somewhere else on the map. Still true here, even though it's 2 members of TSM split pushing. The 4-man squad is so elusive. Gragas, Sivir, and Karma, so many ways to elude CLG's initiation, and they make it happen there, buying time for the team. Returning to TSM overall this split, though, and the work ethic that they've had, it really has been showing through.
The ability to keep up that pace without burning out as well, because we see a lot of teams come in and surge, and then it falls off slowly, and you almost wonder why. And burnout is one of those big reasons.
It is a very real concern, especially since, as Reginald said in the interview earlier, their focus is on playoffs.
Right.
Don't want to burn out during normal season play. Do want to instill fear in every other team in the North American LCS, though.
and do it effectively by not losing any games. The story for TSM so far, a bit of their choose your own adventure, but also an autobiography, and it looks like they are going to be trying to take down aphromoo once more, and they have turned quite a fight. This is the choke point you were talking about to get that Aurelion soul in, but they can't find the priority targets. You saw the damage spread out across so many members.
And they get the disengage. Very big victory there for CLG. It's only a single kill, but that stalls out TSM's momentum that they were building. They were starting to take control, full control of this game. CLG are able to disengage and snag that kill onto Doublelift with the Trundle pillar, locking him down.
Trying to get in their face, more turrets, more gold. So CLG's thinking right now if they can make it past these two members.
5 seconds on Doublelift though, and he can return to lane pretty quickly. TSM do defend their outpost.
Things on both sides of the map as well. Bot needs cleanup, top needs pushing. It's actually going from CLG's side in their favor, so TSM's gonna have quite a wave to deal with soon. CLG back to clean up. This is actually the moment you were saying they got this time to breathe, or TSM would still be down their throat. Let's see it again.
Yeah, less, because it's a pretty good initiation on Xmithie there, but they can't finish it. aphromoo headbutts Hauntzer out of this. Hauntzer's basically out of that fight for the rest of it. Ooh, really good headbutt there from aphromoo to get him out of there. If Aurelia was in the backline as well, Xmithie and probably Stixxay would have gone down. So very good use of the terrain, but Huhi under attack now.
A little too sure of himself there, thinking he could act as the meat wall or the separator to the team fight, and he gets separated completely. A double kill for Hauntzer.
Yeah, that small time of breathing room for CLG is short-lived. TSM return to the scene of the crime, re-engage, and take down Afro as well as Huhi this time around. That's gonna be a Baron. Can Xmithie get a miraculous steal here? He doesn't have flash, so it might be suicide. Not gonna go for it. Or will he?
They're gonna give it up. The team calls it. It looks like they were pondering the thought, but the better decision is to stay alive.
Because it definitely would have been suicide, and there's a low chance that you actually do get the steal. So CLG cut their losses and are now gonna have to huddle inside their inhibitor turrets. I think the middle secondary turret is gonna have to be forfeit. Here we go though. Hauntzer starts it all off. And Huhi's trying to go in there. He does not have flash anymore, so Hauntzer keeps up the pace. Gragas ultimate to knock him back. Really well positioned from Svenskeren. And TSM are able to clean up, as you know, the Baron after that play as well. So they pick up right where they left off. You know, small little hiccup for them. And aphromoo gonna need some help.
The shoulder wards on either side of TSM alert them of CLG's flank, and it is stopped immediately along with aphromoo death. His ultimate also expended. Just about 30 seconds on the clock now. We're still pretty early in this one, so there's not much time to push once you get it, but TSM is making quick work of everything, so don't put anything past them.
Yep. They've got the... Oh, Svenskeren gonna be able to take that ward and... get on out. Yeah, definitely forfeit that secondary turret. Inhibitor ones are the only ones CLG stands a chance of defending at this point. And it would still have to be a pretty big mistake for TSM.
Just one hit on the turret. They've got an Infernal ready after they're done with the turrets and the Baron buff here, but 2 minutes going on that, so they may be staying for the long haul. Big damage onto Stixxay. Makes him think twice. He's gonna have to go heal. All this time, these little pokes that TSM is getting is giving them so much time, or I should say enough time with the objectives and the turrets that are on the map.
Bjergsen wants to go save that minion wave in mid. They need it if they want to pressure another inhibitor turret. He successfully saves that cannon from Xmithie, who was trying to cut the wave. And TSM again, they want to get 2 inhibitor turrets out of this Baron. There they go.
There's the on the hunt. They know that Bjergsen's in trouble. Immediately, the entire team pulls back for cavalry status, and now they're going to go ahead and get back into the fight.
Yeah, what happened there? I think Xmithie was trying to flank or something. I didn't see the setup because I was focused on this turret, but that's definitely going to be 2 for TSM.
They were toying with each other, and literally TSM used just about the initiation they have to get back and save Bjergsen, to get back and save more damage for the fight, and possibly a continuation in and on to the nexus of CLG's base. 32 minutes, 16-4 here in a 10,000 gold lead once again for TSM as they close down on another victory. They close down on looking to be 10-0 in the NALCS, and it may happen in just a few. CLG holding what they can with the front line of aphromoo and Darshan. Stixxay trying to stay behind him and throw out the attacks. But TSM has played this so clean, they can almost stay here forever.
Yep, they'll stay here as long as it takes to kill the Nexus, though.
Oh. Hauntzer gets bopped, but it's going to be a trading kills. That's Darshan going down as well. TSM are going to stay undefeated in the North American LCS as they take down Counter Logic Gaming.
What an impressive series from TSM. Doublelift getting them hyped as well.
So elated. And they have to be happy. A game where even Reggie thought there's definitely a possibility where CLG come out here today and we see the CLG that people have been expecting to see since they came home from MSI. But TSM was able to get under that skin. We saw glimpses of it from CLG, but nothing that could be strung together.
I did like the Aurelion Soul strategy. Huhi had some really good roams early on. They were able to get, a couple picks, a couple advantages. But against TSM, nobody has really been able to have a significant lead.
No.
They've only dropped 3 games the whole split so far, and those are just individual games. 0 series dropped by them. CLG are able to make a couple early moves, but that's about it. TSM looked very good.
And what is there to really say? I mean, you look back at the losses they have, the 3 in series, just the game losses themselves. There's really no correlation. You'd have to watch the game in depth to see what that mistake was, or if they didn't really or they came into the game too lax, I should say, without preparation. Other than that, where's the flaws? What do you see TSM doing wrong? It's very hard, and it seems like other teams